welcome to today's conversation. I'm joined today with Lisa, who is an emotional intelligence and life coach. Lisa, would you like to briefly introduce yourself into what you do and maybe a brief background of what got you to doing what you are doing today?
Yeah, sure, Sarah. Thank you for inviting me for this amazing conversation. And well, what got me into coaching was, I think, my long path and my lifelong interest in psychology and personal development. But yeah, I started as an ESL teacher, and then I started just getting my own business. And then I was doing I was exploring life, and I was thinking there should be more to it. It cannot be that rigid as it looks like. Okay, find a job, get married or whatever, and like follow these steps. There should be more to it. And I think like through this, I started traveling. I went to live to China. Then I moved here to Poland, where I'm living now. And I tried different jobs. I tried different paths. And then, eventually I ended up as a coach because along the way, I've been helping people and like shaping their experiences as well. And then one of my friends told, "Oh, like you are my coach." And then I started exploring and digging deeper. And I remember I was thinking, how can I do what I love, like which is like psychology and personal development, but I haven't studied for it. What do I do now? And then I got like this friend telling this to me, and it clicked. And then I just changed my path and I started all over again. And it feels like I'm here. So it's like I've arrived home when I started doing what I'm doing now. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. I literally just got chills when you said I've arrived home doing what I'm doing now, because I think that's such an amazing feeling to get to that point. And I can resonate with what you said around thinking, is there more? And I would think like that also from a young age of thinking, I'm told to hop on this train of life from school to work to college to get a job to get married, and even these movies or influence that I have are saying that this is what happiness is. And then I'm looking around at the real world of the adults who are in these marriages, and I'm like, a lot of them don't even look that happy. And I was like, a lot of people or adults are saying things or saying nice quotes, but not actually living that life. And I thought, well, this seems like a little bit of a trick.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Like, is that it?
Yeah, and I
Can
think
it be different somehow? Yeah.
exactly. And I think maybe something that holds most of us back from actually exploring what we want to explore in our curiosity that could potentially lead to something that feels like home is fear. So what would you think about that? Have you experienced any fear in your path to here?
All the time, I believe, right? But then fear, it's a sign that okay, there is something there is some challenge, right? And sometimes I would prefer to do something and feel fear than feel comfort and not doing. But then like the aftermath of these are worse, because you're not staying in the same place, because the world is evolving, life is evolving, and you're degrading then. So yeah, I think fear is normal and it's a part of our life, but it's about like what's the worst case scenario that we're afraid of, and what is the worst case scenario if we don't do that. So maybe just choosing the fear you go ahead with, like, there is this saying, there is pain of doing and pain of not doing. So choose the one, the outcomes of which you would prefer, right?
Yeah, and it's like no matter what choice we make, fear can be in either one. So, for example, we may not even think we're making a choice by not taking the action that we're afraid of. We're also making the choice not to take the action and to stay stuck. And then when we look at it, it's thinking, well, do we want to experience the fear and turn that fear into power by actually being in action and doing what we want to do? Or do we want to turn that fear into pain from feeling hopeless and feeling like a victim and being stuck in that cycle of feeling stuck and stagnant?
I love how you put it. Yeah.
So I'm super interested to hear more about the emotional intelligence side of things. If you would like to maybe give a little introduction as to what is that for someone who has maybe never heard of that before?
Yeah, so emotional intelligence is, in a nutshell, yeah, because I can be talking about it forever, but in a nutshell, it's your ability to identify your emotions and to regulate them, as well as to, like, when you're learning to do that and be aware of your emotions, you're taking it to the next level of being able to relate to those emotions in others and to be able not to self-regulate, but regulate emotions of others through how you relate to them, right? So this skill is not about how to come to terms with yourself, how to be able to negotiate with yourself, to understand yourself, to live at peace with yourself, but also how to create the same relationships with others.
Got it. So almost like to be aware of our behaviors and others' behaviors, to live in a more harmonious environment and have better relationships, and I'd imagine better work environments or just general life as well.
Yes. And actually, speaking about being aware of our behaviors, we can start there and then just look backwards. How this behavior was triggered? What was the emotion that triggered it, and what was the thought behind this emotion? So, like, one of the best starting point, if you want to start exploring emotional intelligence, is take any emotion. You don't have to take some strong one. Take some irritation. Yeah, for example, you experienced recently. Would you like to do something like that now?
Let's do a practice. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Irritation.
Can you remember some situation when you recently felt irritated?
Yes.
Or maybe any other, like annoyed or frustrated, but
yes. Okay. So when I can tell that my partner is holding back on communication and noticing that I'm also doing the same thing.
And so how do you feel then? Irritated or frustrated?
Yeah, irritated because I know that when I'm speaking or asking something, it's none of us are given an actual answer or going into it. It's almost like we're both avoiding it.
Okay. So let's work with this emotion then. The first step is to identify it, right? And then I take the situation. So we did that. And what are the thoughts? What are the interpretations that make you feel irritated? You already started saying a bit, but maybe there are more to it.
Yes. So an irritation on my behalf of me not being able to articulate what I need to say in that moment, or to express that in a way, and maybe overthinking how to communicate it in a more positive way. So instead, I'm like, okay, maybe it's better to do it another time. And then on his behalf, more so just knowing that he's probably thinking the same thing.
Okay. And so this makes you feel irritated. Yeah.
Yes.
And then what are some alternative interpretations to this situation that you could give other than what you've given?
Alternative interpretations, so other ways of seeing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, like a more positive way of seeing it, I guess, could be that we are both experiencing the same thing. Good thing is that we both understand what each other are most likely going through and feeling, and most likely we're both just feeling anxious in that moment of overthinking and not wanting to maybe step across a line or create an argument or to upset the other person. Yeah, I guess that's seen it.
And then when you see it this way, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel more compassionate towards myself And then also towards my partner as well, knowing that it most likely doesn't come from a negative intent from either.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's like you become more empathetic, more compassionate,
Yeah,
right?
so definitely more empathic, definitely more compassionate, definitely more understanding and being more aware of this situation rather than being attached in it.
Mm-hmm. And then play back the situation in your head and imagine seeing it from the perspective that you've just described me. What would be your further steps? How would it affect your behavior?
So knowing it from that place, huh? I probably would be the first one to say something.
Mm.
And maybe to first communicate how I feel,
Mm.
and ask, is this something you're feeling too?
Mm.
Rather than assumption, and also rather than saying, you're doing this.
Okay. Yeah, sounds great. So how likely are you to try it next time if in the
Oh,
same situation?
yeah, definitely. And one thing we definitely do is have, every at least every so often have a conversation of, hey, like, is there anything you want to say? Is there anything more to add to that? And to get maybe anything that like that out into the open as well.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah, sounds beautiful. Okay, so yeah, like what we did now is just like one of the first ways to try to test what emotional intelligence is like and how it can work on you. And everyone can do that, And there is much more to it because there is also emotional awareness involved. And there is like the part I love a lot, and I would like to share with you in this conversation as well, is that the basis of like the whole process of unlocking your emotional intelligence or growing it, is understanding that there are no good or bad emotions.
Yeah.
They are all there for some purpose, and trying to, because sometimes we get like annoyed or frustrated, and then we get annoyed or frustrated because of we're annoyed or frustrated. So it's like second layer of emotions. But when we're doing it, it's the same as we're angry because it's raining, right? Well, it's raining for the reasons the same. We have emotions because it was triggered by something. And then if we remove this layer and we stay with the emotion only and see, and become curious, what triggered it? Why am I feeling this way? And sometimes you can say, oh, well, it's like an old pattern and it's not true what you're feeling. And the situation doesn't seem that scary or frustrating anymore because the truth is different and it was just distorted in our mind by
Yeah.
memories or by emotions.
And I like what you said about like the rain and almost feeling like anger towards the rain when, the weather can be sunny one day, can be rainy one day. One person may view the sun as, this is frustrating because it's too hot for me to go on a walk. And, a farmer may see the rain and think, oh my gosh, like amazing, this is great for my crop. So it's like with emotions too, we can take something from them and we can learn from each emotion too, whether that is happy emotions and positive emotions where we can say, oh gosh, I felt really great and really excited there, really happy. What happened? Like, how can I like take that experience and maybe recreate that more in the future as well? So for example, oh, I feel really good when I'm doing yoga or when I'm sitting outside in the sun. Okay, maybe I should do more of that. Or I feel disgusted when I am writing a certain type of message with an intention out of it. And then I feel, so, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't do that again. So I think we can learn from them as well, but then without, what, like you said, being harsh on ourselves and critical and just being more curious.
Yeah. And I like how you put it actually now, what you're um, like the way you were describing it is actually how you can motivate yourself. Yeah, how motivation is created with the help of emotions. Because sometimes people say, "Oh, I'm not motivated. I just lost it," but then it's all emotional. Yeah, you feel like you lost motivation, but maybe you feel you don't want to do something, and then it's about looking into this. You don't want. What is this? What is this about? Yeah, what are you resisting? What is this resistance about? But then you're saying, I have motivation that I don't have. I cannot control it, but you can. As you said, like if it's watching, being aware of your positive emotion, for example, when doing yoga, and saying, oh, why don't I do more of that, right? And having more of the things on the list that make you feel good. And this way, you're also getting to know yourself. Because I remember one of the questions you asked me before our conversation was how can emotional intelligence help you to become yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, to become your true self. And so at least to like this is I would say for me, of course, from my perspective of being passionate about emotional intelligence, this is the tool number one for you, because it shows you how you feel is related to whether you are true to yourself or no. Because the further you are from your real self, from your true self, the worse you feel about the life you live, about the people you spend time with, about the activities you engage yourself into. Because if you don't like something in your life, it means you're not honest with yourself. Maybe someone told you it's good for you to do, or someone made this choice, this job choice for you, or any other choice for you. So this is a great starting point to learning about yourself, is to seeing what resonates with you, what doesn't resonate with you.
Yeah, and I can, picking up on that, I can totally relate to, if I think about myself in a situation a year ago where I was living in America, in Philadelphia, working in a club, and felt like I was working so many hours in hospitality, working long shifts in a day, being exhausted, definitely not working with my natural energy system, and didn't have time to do the things that I enjoyed, like exercise or do yoga, or I wanted to learn more about, I'm fascinated by also psychology, like neuroscience and spirituality, all of that. Had no time to really dig more into that. And I actually got myself a coach and started to realize, oh, I'm doing all the things based right now, what I have done based on what I have done in the past, rather than thinking, what do I want in the future? And now let me align up and start doing things towards that. So didn't mean I had to rush home to Ireland right away. It just meant, okay, well, maybe a couple of steps that I can take is get a coach. And then the next step that I can take is take an hour a day to do some study. Then maybe set some better boundaries with my friends and tell them, I actually don't want to go out and drink tonight. Instead, I want to do this. And then with my manager, tell them, hey, I actually will not work another 17-hour shift again. This is my cutoff point. You know, if I am working the next morning, I need 8 hours sleep, I'm going to bed at this time. So we can even make small changes, and then they all lead to a bigger change.
Yeah. Speaking about boundaries, like you gave those examples when you started setting up your boundaries. And it's so connected with emotional intelligence as well. Because boundaries is a tough topic for people. Because people say, I'm uncomfortable saying no, but then I'm saying, okay, but then how do you feel doing what you are doing because you didn't say no? Well, I feel like I'm betraying myself. I don't feel good about myself. I feel lack of self-worth. And I say, so is it the price you want to pay?
Yeah.
Right. And then this fear comes in, right? So you're afraid to be rejected, and all these things, to be rejected or to be judged or to upset someone. And then so what do you choose? What are you saying yes to, and what are you saying no to? Right.
Yes. And
then,
I think one strength with setting boundaries is when you say no to something you do not want to do, you're actually saying yes to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I've really enjoyed this conversation anyway. Is there anything that you feel like you haven't said that you would like to share just to sum it up?
No, I think it was a great conversation, and I'm still processing it. So I think I will be even like taking notes, because what you shared was insightful for me as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to more of such conversations with
Yeah,
you.
of course, me too. I'm even looking forward to watch the own recording, even watch it back myself, which is funny. I guess that's a good sign when you want to watch your own video.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa. If you would just like to tell people maybe how they can best connect with you or where they can find you, and I will leave some links below as well.
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn and on Instagram. So it's Vasilisa Coaching, everywhere the same. So, and I have a website, vasilisacoaching.com. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you all.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
Lisa.
Thank you. Bye.